How did you balance between reduced staff, paying your bills, and making sure that Nishan, now being homeschooled, was going to all be okay?
Faith. It was faith. The same faith and strength that I found to start my practice is the faith that got me through those times. I just had to keep believing positive.
Hello, Dr. Amin.
Hello, Hema.
It's so good to see you. Thank you for being part of this video series that we're interviewing power moms who are in business. You were nominated by a leading family law attorney in Orange County in California. Her name's Swati Desai. She tells me that you are an amazing mom who's started your own podiatry practice. And but first of all, I want to really, tell us more about your family. What your son? I'd love to hear more about him.
Absolutely. So I have, of course, a wonderful husband of almost 28 years next month, and we have a 21-year-old son, Nishan. Nishan is going to be senior in college. He majors in computer science at Cal State Long Beach. And he's actually on the spectrum. He's autistic.
Oh, wow.
Which, is a challenge in and of itself. It was a beautiful challenge, though. He's a wonderful kid.
And so you had Nishan's autistic, but you decided to do it all and open up your practice. How long ago did you start your practice?
So being that Nishan was special and we had to undergo a lot of therapy. So, that left little time to try to have my own practice. So I worked for others until 4 years ago. 4 years ago, when Nishan turned 17 and he finally got his driver's license and we got him a car, his therapist told me, it's time for you to do what you want to do, Mom. Now it's time for you. And I was very nervous about it because I know it takes a lot of time and energy to start your own practice. And I was starting much later, than normal physicians would. However, I took the plunge, I took the faith, and I started 4 years ago, started my own practice. In healthcare, our secondary education does not teach us how to start a business. They just teach you how to be a doctor.
Right.
And I had no clue what I was doing. I started attending some practice management seminars. I would call friends and just said, well, what do I need? I had no idea. So, finding a place to rent, finding out about all the licensures I need. And of course, as we went along, we figured out what needed to be done. A year into my practice, as I still felt so clueless, I hired a practice consultant. So I hired a medical practice consultant who really helped us to get to the next level, right? With the business, ensuring that we're complying with all the rules and regulations. And like I said, I just had faith in myself. I started the practice along with Becky Spooner, who's my office manager. And without her, there was no way I could have done this. So I'm forever grateful to Becky as well in starting this, like both of us at a later age. When I first started the practice, I was leasing space from another physician. So we were sharing the space. He was a different specialty, and it was a very small office, and we grew very quickly, very, very quickly. In 6 months, we outgrew that space, and I started looking for a new space. And 3 years ago, found the space. It had to be built out. So 2 years ago, we moved. We literally moved into a large office space 1 week after the lockdown from COVID.
Wow.
And that scared me because there were already stories of, you can't see patients. I said, what will I do for income? What's going to happen? What's going to happen to my husband's business, right? If both of us have a decrease in income, what will Nishan feel the stress? Nishan is very in tune with my emotions. He is very in tune. If I'm stressed, he's stressed. If I'm sad, he's sad. If I'm happy, he's happy. So I keep that in mind. I don't bring the stressors home. I leave them in the office if I have any. Then what happened shortly after, as you know, Hema, about the Great American Walkout? Well, all three of my medical assistants decided to walk out. No reason given. They just left. They just abandoned their jobs. And so it was so stressful to have the limited staff I had with, the decreased number of patients. What am I going to do? And so that was something I thought, oh my goodness, my timing is just so off here. Here I'm going into a larger office space. It was double the rent, double everything. And it's COVID. And COVID, as everybody knows, it was stressful for everybody globally. Everybody was going through it. It wasn't just me.
Right.
And, my son then was at home taking classes online. He was frustrated because it was challenging for a lot of professors to teach that way. And so it was a very unnerving time, not knowing what was going to happen. I just had to keep believing positive. I stopped watching the news. I actually had to stop watching the news because it was just such doom and gloom that my practice consultant said, stop, you got to stop watching that because it gets to you. You don't understand, you don't know that it gets to you, but it does.
So it sounds to me, Dr. Amin, that you are, what I loved about what you said earlier is that you had Becky,
yes,
Skinner, who's your office manager, and it sounds to me like you surround yourself with good people. You've got a practice consultant as well. Did you have someone come in to assist you with Nishan and coaching him so that you could multitask, so to speak?
Yes. So thank you for mentioning that. So we support this wonderful nonprofit organization called NeuroGuides for Autistics. And basically they're life guides for autistics. So many of you are familiar with life coaches. So they're basically life coaches for autistic individuals. And in 2019, the summer of 2019, Nishan started coaching with David Hall, who's the founder of NeuroGuides. Wonderful, wonderful man. And Nishan blossomed after that. We love Nishan's therapist. That only went so far. And what NeuroGuides does is they actually teach these autistic individuals how to transition into real life, how to become independent adults, in the world. Because to teach Nishan that was very challenging. No matter how many times we took him grocery shopping, he would freeze. No matter how many times we took him clothes shopping, he just froze. And not understanding, despite all the books I've read, how to help Nishan overcome that. Well, NeuroGuides, David Hall actually helped Nishan get through that. So he had been wonderful. He continued to coach with Nishan weekly, and that really helped Nishan navigate through the stresses of COVID and being on school or being at school online only.
How can other parents, I should say, not just business owners, get hold of someone like David should they have a child with autism?
Absolutely. So it's neuroguides.org, neuroguides.org, and you can contact David, for a consultation. Everything is done via Zoom, which is nice. And I understand now David has additional coaches because he's grown so much. And, it's a wonderful organization that I actually found through Costco magazine. It was really cool, during Autism Awareness Month, which is April. That was last month. And that's how I found this organization. And it's been very powerful in our lives.
So how did you end up finding the additional medical assistants? just by local ads
We
and
did ads, we did Indeed.
right.
Yes, contacting the schools in the area. And we actually found people in a number of different ways. So, which was nice, between school, between Indeed, between Facebook ads. We
Right.
actually managed, and we've got a great team right now. I mean, this team is much more powerful than my last team. So
So
it was a blessing.
so it's now, I want to say 2 years plus since that horrible lockdown that we had 2 years ago. Where do you see this going forward into 2023?
As far as the practice.
Yeah, yeah, and growth
Yes.
no,
So
we're talking inflation now, recession. How do you see all
we
of that
are.
playing into your challenges?
Right, right. Well, with the growth, I actually hired another doctor a year and a half ago.
Right.
Yeah, it's been great. Dr. Caitlin Lee is my new associate. And that's new for me too, because of course, starting my own practice and then having a doctor, another, doctor as an employee, which has been great. It's been helping me a lot because I was really running ragged trying to keep up with the growth. Yes, we do have a recession coming, and I've worked through various recessions where it will hit you. Same with inflation. Inflation, we definitely feel it in the office because COVID increased the cost of a lot of goods in
Right.
general. Medical goods in particular increased in cost day one, the lockdown. Our costs rose about 30%.
Wow.
So as a podiatrist, for those of you who don't know, we are specialists in the foot and ankle, both conservatively and surgically. And, a lot of people will ask me, well, what's the difference between an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in the foot and ankle and a podiatrist? I really believe, well, number one, we're trained on how to treat the foot and ankle conservatively. And we always do that first before we jump into surgery. So you can be rest assured that that's what you'll get first.
You pretty much do everything foot and ankle.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yes, everything from the skin, the nails, to circulation issues, to nerve problems, muscular problems, foot drops if you need any kind of bracing. We do that. But yes, anything and everything that has to do with the foot and ankle. And then every wound actually below the knee. So we do take care of everything below the knee.
And so you said Corona. So you're located in Corona in California.
Correct.
In the Inland Empire.
Yes.
What hospitals are you affiliated with?
Currently, I'm affiliated with Corona Regional Medical Center.
And I believe that, I correct me if I'm wrong, but are you the director of surgery over there?
No, I'm the vice chair of surgery right now. Yes.
Wow, soon to be director. And any plans for expansion, Dr. Amin?
Yes, so we are sorting that out. We'd like to expand down into the Murrieta Temecula area, and hopefully that should be happening sometime this year. And there's a great need out there, and we've had a lot of interest for Dr. Lee and I to be starting another practice location down there, and hopefully we'll be adding as we grow that practice.
Right. Well, I think that you're definitely, Swati did the right thing to nominate you. I mean, imagine this: you're going into surgery, amputating limbs, managing a home with an autistic child, being a wonderful wife to your husband, and running a practice with all this COVID business going on. So I'm honored and privileged to have had this time with you, Dr. Amin.
Well, I'm honored to be nominated, and I too am honored to be speaking with you and sharing my story.
I hope my wish is that this empowers other doctors that have felt the drive to want to have their own practice, because there's so many amazing doctors that are, absorbed into a very large health system and they're not recognized.
Well, and I also feel that for me, working for others, I was restricted by what their vision was for a practice. And when I started my practice, I knew exactly what the vision was. And it's very patient-centric. We
Yeah.
don't treat patients like a number. My staff must smile, must be friendly, must be professional. And we've had a lot of compliments with that, that the moment you walk in, from the receptionist to the medical assistant to the doctor to whoever answers the phone, is very professional and very nice, that they can feel the smile through the phone. And I'm
Yeah.
very happy about that.
No, congratulations. You are a power mom, and we might have you back on for another series, but thank you so much, Dr. Amin.
Thank you, Hema.